Ralph Fusatola, J.D., Life Spirit Congregational Church. On Manifestation, from the Life Spirit Commentaries and other Life Spirit expressions. This is a private, expressive association communication. Index. Introduction. On Manifestation, Part 1, Power to Manifest. On Manifestation, Part 2, Imagination for Manifestation. On Manifestation, Part 3, Manifestation and Change. On Manifestation, Part 4, Psychic Patterns and Manifestation. Synchronicity. Chaos and Manifestation. The Secret within the Secret. Rewiring Reality. Law of Attraction. Codicil, Meditations on the One, and Resources. You are God, Goddess in your full being. Master, there is no other. Introduction. This ebook includes excerpts from the 4-part commentary on manifestation written in 1989, together with certain later Life Spirit expressions about the arts of manifestation. We also include links to YouTube presentations relating to the concept of manifestation from a Life Spirit perspective. More here, www.youtube.com/LifeSpirit. From the Life Spirit History page. The Life Spirit Congregational Church, lifespirit.org, is a recognized religious body, church, and private association of independent congregations, auxiliaries, and church-affiliated organizations founded by Rev. Ralph Fusatola and Rev. Kathy Green Fusatola in 1974, mutually supporting certain positive teachings, engaging in associational expression. The church provides religious, charitable, research, and educational services, and its trustees are incorporated under New Jersey law. Chief among its teachings is that higher consciousness is the true goal of each seeker. It also teaches the law of equal liberty, do with your own as you will, and the doctrine of retreat, which urges the congregations to eschew secularism. It considers concern with psychic functioning, longevity, living alternatives, healing, mysticism, and illumination to be appropriate religious concerns. It sponsors spiritual energy work and licenses and ordains minister practitioners upon due education and certification. It teaches the great truth, Thou art God, Goddess. The church sponsors traditional religious ritual, such as marriages, namings, memorials, and celebrates together 4 high holy days, the equinoxes and solstices, to express our oneness with the great cosmic cycles of Gaia, Luna, and Soul. The teachings have led several of the congregations working through church-approved auxiliary bodies to act in the world by expressing healing and teaching ministries. The Life Spirit Theological Seminary provides teaching services leading to advanced theological degrees. www.lifespiritseminary.org. Thus, the members seek their highest potential as individuals through the teachings, while the congregations practice retreat and the ministries witness the teachings through voluntary and non-coercive commitment in the wider community. For as the doctrine of the Church says, the spirit of life is spontaneous and free. The Church and its congregations, auxiliaries, and ministers do not diagnose, prescribe for, treat, or claim to prevent, mitigate, or cure disease. Up-to-date church information is published at the Life Spirit Church Facebook page and at the Pastoral Counseling Life Spirit Church Facebook page. The Universal Shema. Hear, O sentience! Self, universe, and God are one. I Am speaks this truth. Commentary on Manifestation. Part 1. The Power to Manifest. Manifestation is when be, want, allow, become synchronistically. From the viewpoint of the dominant rationalist monotheist worldview, the New Age concept of manifestation must seem most peculiar. The monotheists preach doctrines specifically denying that individuals can control their own lives. Some Christians believe in predestination, many believe in fate. Muslims demand Islam, which means submission to Allah's will. Indeed, by whatever name he's known, the monotheists claim for him intimate control over all the details of our individual realities. The excuse this view gives the deity's representatives on earth to meddle in our personal affairs is obvious, but not in the scope of this essay. Here we're concerned with the way this viewpoint blinds us to the astounding view that we each, indeed, manifest our own realities. Later essays in this series offer specific techniques of manifestation. Traditional rationalist, 19th century reductionist science's doctrines of determinism also denies individual control and recognizes no meaningful relationship among the details of reality other than physical causation in linear time. Happily, the views of both religion and science have begun to change. In religion, though the worst of the old-line monotheist sects prefer to self-destruct rather than change, New Age ideas now offer a real alternative to dominant views. In science, with the advent of neo-rationalist ideas such as quantum uncertainty and synchronicity, the New Age seems about to provide the metaphysics needed to complete the new physics. The coming into being of artificial advanced intelligence, AI, opens extraordinary potential. Thus, for the first time in modern history, science and advanced religion are reaching toward the same truth of individual empowerment. What does this have to do with the power to manifest? Let me tell you about the man from Brooklyn who won a $23 million lottery. He had had a hard, non-abundant life without luck. However, when he bought the ticket and stepped out of the store, he stepped on a religious medal lying on the sidewalk, and he said he just knew that he had won the lottery and that he never doubted it. And indeed, he did win. What is it about the nature of space-time that allows us to sometimes see, make manifest, the future we want, and have it come to pass even against all odds? The acausal, or synchronistic, connection between imagination and outcome is desire. As the Ram says, be, acknowledge your own existence, your self-value. Want, this is the role of consciousness in manifestation, where the subjective enters the objective, where the self-experimenter affects the reality experiment. Effective wanting requires vivid imagination and knowing without a doubt. And allow, having molded it, let it go, expecting the synchronistic manifestation, but without concern for the specific channel of manifestation. The universe will take care of the details. You need to let go of your past limitations, of limiting experiences of all of your pasts. Release harmful patterns. Let go of limiting past relations. Manifestation starts now. You are God, Goddess of your being. Stop pretending otherwise. On Manifestation, Part 2, Imagination for Manifestation. Imagination is the seed of all manifestation. No human creation comes into existence without first being imagined in some individual's mind. No work of art is made, no structure built, no invention modeled without first existing in mind. No law of nature is apprehended unless first imagined. Newton only thought about that golden apple falling off that tree. Nor is any marketing planned or even lottery won without the forethought of imagining the result. All systems of science, art, and magic begin with this step. Only the descriptions of the outcomes differ. Einstein imagined what it would be like to be a particle wave of light. Picasso imagined what it was like to see an object from many directions at once. Crowley imagined how that which is above was like that which is below. And from such imaginings, the great revolution in consciousness exploded. In the New Age, each person can claim the right to imagine what each wills. In this way, each is responsible for his or her experience of reality. There are no victims in universal manifestation, and every event is synchronistic. But mere imaginings are not sufficient. You must inflame yourself to move that sluggard reality as you will. Idle daydreaming will not do. Only rigorous centering and absolute clarity will see your dreams through to your reality. If your imaginings are not impeccable, neither will be your reality. As above, so below. Affirmations, whether used in waking consciousness or in meditative or other altered states to better drive the point into subconscious, can be very valuable tools for rigorous imagining. The 3 P's are a useful reminder here. Effective affirmations should be personal, present, and positive. When your affirmations echo in your dreams, your subconscious is getting the message and the power of the subconscious archetypes being activated. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better is powerful manifestory magic. In Part 3, we discuss energizing your imagination through the Kundalini channel. Be, want, allow. Chance buffets all ways, yet sages step aright. On one's path, there is no chance. On Manifestation, Part 3, Manifestation and Change. In this world of abundant synchronicity, the prime lesson to learn, if you are to manifest, is that you indeed already have manifested exactly what you experience. You must take responsibility for, you must own your reality. Once you acknowledge that you are responsible, but not to blame, for your manifestation, you are ready to change what you manifest. Change starts now. The past does not matter when it comes to your present manifestation of the future. The previous parts of this essay dealt with the metaphysical, synchronistical basis of manifestation, be, want, allow, and with imagination, the root of manifestation. This part sets forth the energizing of manifestation, or changing your reality. Jung held that there was little one could do to consciously affect manifestation. What one can do, according to the Jungians, is to set the stage, as it were, for the constellating of events which constitutes synchronicity. This is done on the level of the archetypes. These are most often triggered on deep subconscious levels. And the gate to the subconscious is the reprogramming techniques which rely on altered states of consciousness and the power of emotional imagination. The subconscious is simple-minded and literal, so be aware of what you imagine. It will come to be. Others propose more direct interventions in the process of synchronistic manifestation, using the same imaginative trance techniques used in remote viewing. The power raised from Kundalini explodes into a manifestation. The Ram says that if you could bring to manifestation the same energy you bring to sexual fantasy, you could change the universe. This energy can be raised through vibratory exercises that simulate Kundalini. The Ram suggests Om-E as a vibratory stimulation coupled with impeccable imagination. When the vibration, starting at the base, rises to the heart chakra, one has the power to manifest. This is accompanied by the appropriate hand motion. The heels of the two are brought together at the fourth seal above the heart, the fingers forming a cone to focus the energy, and is best done alone, in a quiet mind state, out of doors. The red Kundalini energy rising from the base chakra meets the white light being breathed through the crown chakra, opening the third eye along the way. They are entwined by the hand motion, and ancient alchemists called this the marriage of the red and the white. Being well mineralized, taking a good mineral supplement. For that, you can see www.drremarecommends.com, can help in the energizing of this process. But the core of it is a mental process, and it is a procedure that can only be learned by doing. Regular practice is the key to effective manifesting. Many traditions have various similar methods. Some use physical devices as aids. The Australian shaman would direct the energy with pointed crystals. Equipment such as brain entrainment and frequency devices and trance recordings also have a place in the continuing development of manifesting techniques. Often, find a quiet place and contemplate, if you will, where you are now. Own it, and then imagine where you want to be. Bless yourself with emotion, elation, and joy. Let it be. Goddess bless. If perception's door were cleansed and opened, true light might surely blind you. On Manifestation, Part 4, Psychic Patterns and Manifestation. A prime life spirit proposition is that we continually create our own future experiences by our present psychic patterns. It's not our purpose here to prove this proposition. You've seen the prior essays in this series for the theoretical basis for this meta-quanta physical claim. Rather, we choose to discuss techniques to break patterns, practical techniques to break negative patterns, which can benefit the practitioner without regard to theoretical underpinnings. Chris Griscom of the Light Institute of Galisteo says some patterns are so hidden that you need to be opened to them. She does this by stimulating certain acupuncture points, including those known as the windows to the sky. Once recognized and felt, a pattern is often released. John Ray's Body Electronics similarly uses group acupressure point holding sessions to release past lives trauma stored in the body. Release is often experienced as past life memories. A circle of communicants in the First Congregation is meeting regularly to work on this and other techniques. Lazarus also recognizes such patterns. He has special meditations which take the seeker on a trip back through time to cure the ills which implanted the patterns, and then to bring the seeker forward to the present to create a new future. The kahuna, the Hawaiian keepers of the secrets, held that subconscious guilt complexes limited the power of the subconscious, the unipihili, the little seed, to transmit psychic energy along the aka cords to the higher self, the God self, known as the Alma Kua, so that it can manifest desired futures for the Uhane, the conscious self. Cleansing, self-forgiving rituals, the Ho'oponopono, were used to release these unrealized patterns to allow the Aumakua to create the future. Less esoteric cures also abound. According to practitioners of network chiropractic, memories and patterns are stored in the meningeal tissue located along the spine. By gently pressing specific points there, tension on the sheath is released, along with old memory patterns. The body readjusts its perspective and healing ensues. For those of us whose beliefs extend to the interdimensional, Lightspeed Extraterrestrial Earth Mission in Sedona, for example, has some audio tapes. One called Shattering Illusions claims to set you free from dysfunctional pictures of reality. Another, Cellular Release of Repressed Karma, claims to help you release the energies that have crystallized within you. Sherry Edwards' Human Bioacoustics is a very powerful frequency technique for health and higher consciousness. You can look at that at www.vocalprofiling.com. It is precisely the hidden patterns, Reich's body armor, within the self that must be made known and released to transcend the limits of our experiences. Commentary, Synchronicity. C.G. Jung is quoted in his foreword to the Wilhelm Baines I Ching as having said the following about his concept of synchronicity. Quote, "A certain curious principle that I have termed synchronicity, a concept that formulates a point of view diametrically opposed to that of causality, since the later is merely a statistical truth and not absolute. It is a sort of working hypothesis of how events evolve one out of another, whereas synchronicity takes the coincidence of events in space and time as meaning something more than mere chance, namely, a peculiar interdependence of the objective events among themselves as well as with the subjective psychic states of the observer or observers." End quote. It is that peculiar interdependence which we call manifestation. It is the individual nexus between psyche and the event which constitutes the manifestation of reality for the observers. Starting in the late 1920s, Jung and his students, such as Ira Progoff, author of Jung, Synchronicity, and Human Destiny, have subjected synchronicity to careful philosophical and scientific scrutiny. They have begun to come to certain conclusions regarding the patterns or constellations of events which constitute synchronistic nexes. The first and initially surprising understanding is that there are patterns. But this is precisely what we call synchronicity, uncaused patterns which are more than mere chance, which have meaning, that is, contain information for someone. From chaos, all pattern is manifested. The second and perhaps more startling point is that there are specific mental states associated with synchronicities. Without delving deeply into the Jungian theory of archetypes, it may be said that it is the psychic potential of activated archetypes that appears to set the stage for the constellating of events. Example, "Luck be a lady tonight," as the song says. And the mental states of intense psychic concern, according to Progoff, that activate archetypes include the states familiar to New Age religious practice, the ecstatic trance states which such practices as meditation, tantra, dance, or ritual may trigger. They are states of deepening mental level, and although they may perhaps not be willed, conditions, rituals, states of mind, settings can be structured to allow a mental state that allows the synchronistic event. But often the process occurs on a deeply subconscious level, the levels at which the archetypes are active. One suggestion for understanding synchronicities is to keep track of them in one's own life. Indeed, looking for synchronicities is one of the conditions for finding them. Chaos and manifestation in the new millennium. New Age religion proclaims that as thou art God, you are capable of manifesting anything and everything. Indeed, you have manifested, for whatever reasons, exactly what you experience. New Age science teaches that chaos is at the heart of manifest reality. Manifestation and chaos seem, at first thought, contradictory concepts. Is the universe fundamentally an expression of chaos, or is there some mind, of which we are each a hologrammatic part, which is dreaming the dream of reality? Each religion seeks to answer these questions, as does philosophy, and within its experimental limits, science. It is precisely life spirit religious philosophy that asserts simultaneously the power of manifestation and the reality of chaos. In what sense can both manifestation, which means personal ordering of the experience of existence, and chaos, which means the basic reality, which does not pay attention to the rules of logic, coexist in the same universe. Where in universe is the source energy for the expression of manifestation by which we individual godlings and the source for the unruliness of chaos? I suspect the source of both is the same. That link is indeterminacy, the principle that, at its heart, the universe cannot be measured by those in it. All of our maps have blank spots. Phenorids abound. Virtual particles manifest and unmanifest chaotically all around us, all the time. We just believe we are experiencing a stable, solid reality. Actually, all is flux, all is flow and frequency. If we could see with submicroscopic eyes, we would see the quantum flux. If we could see with the eyes of a galaxy, we would see the eons swirl by giddily. And what can't a godling manifest in such a universe? Thus, it is the very indeterminacy of reality which allows manifestation, while the infinite manifestations of myriad of sentient beings across all the galaxies are the very chaos from which indeterminacy springs. The yin clasps its yang, the snake grasps its tail, and God-Goddess loves the whole which we manifest for its enjoyment. The secret within the secret. Many people have heard about book, video, and audio presentations of the secret to creating your own reality through the law of attraction. What you think consistently is what you experience. This secret has been known to metaphysical thinkers for literally eons, and it is a good thing that more people are learning about their true potential than ever before. The issue of creating your own reality is similar to C.G. Jung's concern about synchronicities and how to bring them about. Jung was quoted above from his foreword to the Wilhelm Bind's I Ching as having said, quote, "Synchronicity takes the coincidence of events in space and time as meaning something more than mere chance, namely a peculiar interdependence of objective events among themselves as well as with the subjective or psychic states of the observer or observers. It is that peculiar interdependence which is the heart of the secret. It is the individual nexus between psyche and event that constitutes the manifestation of reality for the observer. There are patterns, or what Jung called the constellations, of events which constitute the synchronistic nexuses, the creating of experienced reality, the core mental basis for the law of attraction. The first and initially surprising understanding is that there are patterns, but this is precisely what we call synchronicity, uncaused patterns which cannot be explained by mere chance, which have meaning, contain information for someone. From the chaos of experience, specific patterns manifest, attracted to the perceiver. The second and perhaps more startling point is that there are specific mental states associated with synchronicities. Without delving deeply into the Jungian theory of archetypes, it may be said that it is the psychic potential of activated archetypes that appears to set the stage for the constellating of events. Luck be a lady tonight. The mental states of intense psychic concern, as stated by Progoff, that activate archetypes include the familiar states to religious practice, the ecstatic trance states, which such practices as breath control, visualization, meditation, tantra, dance, or ritual may trigger. These are states of deepening mental level, and although they may not perhaps be willed, conditions, rituals, states of minds, settings can be structured to allow a mental state that allows the synchronistic event. Techniques have been developed, such as the remote viewing techniques pioneered by Major General Bert Stubblebine, U.S. Army retired, that are generations beyond earlier techniques. But often the process occurs on deeply subconscious levels, the levels at which the archetypes are active. It is from these deep levels of dream that the most powerful manifestation arises. For as the song says, you got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, you're never going to have a dream come true. The technique of directed consciousness and energy, C&E, as taught by Ramtha, is a powerful example of such a structuring of one's mental state through visualization. This includes focus on a word or image. I use, with a nod to Jung, the ancient runes, and specifically calculated bind runes. But after the word or image is held, it is blown out with the hands held just so. Details of this technique are not difficult to master, but do require some attention to practice. Those details can be found in DVDs offered at Ramtha's School of Enlightenment, www.ramtha.com. I talk about the 3-clap technique in the Life Spirit Clearing page, and that too is important for disrupting and rearranging energies, as you can see. Another such technique, which can be used preliminarily to other techniques, is EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, with its tapping and unconditional love of self to break up negative patterns stored in the body systems. You must be clean and clear of negative conscious as well as negative unconscious programming to know what you really want, to love yourself enough to allow the law of attraction to bring what you want to you. The Life Spirit Clearings page is at our earthlink.net site under clearing.html. You can find it also on the main lifespirit.org site. There's a link there. The set and setting matter. Such things as good music, comfortable surroundings, can all contribute to the visualization experience and its sense of ritual completeness that sets the law of attraction into motion. Affirmations help set the stage for the constellating two. We like this one, taught by J.Z. Knight. Quote, I am today, and for as long as I can remember, have always been frequency-specific with, and here you add your positive, personal, and present affirmations. The object is to want, be, allow, and then experience your heart's desire. The important considerations are gnosis and praxis, the knowledge that what you think and believe affects your reality, and the practices that implement that knowledge. As some Buddhists teach, it does not really matter what spiritual practices you use. The important thing is that, having knowledge, you engage in intentional actions to bring about what you want, enlightenment. When you can say with belief, I know the secret, you know the secret. Thus, the secret is an expedient device, as the Buddha would say. You can only focus on yourself in doing this work. Repeat, you can only focus on yourself in doing this work. Each sovereign being has the right to manifest solely for that being. As in the old tradition, do with your own as you will. Manifesting for self is deeply allied with the law of attraction, powerfully built upon the many worlds of quantum mechanics. Seeking domination over others, or influence or bending them to your will, even just seeking to attract good through them, is ultimately necromancy. You are responsible for what you attract. This is also part of the law of attraction. For the secret within the secret is, thou art God. And as God, why would you ever expect to experience anything other than perfect joy? Manifestation is when be, want, allow becomes synchronistically. rewiring reality. The Millennium Cosmic Gateways, getting ready to remake our realities. Global consciousness. One of the first widely publicized of the global consciousness events was the harmonic convergence of August 16, 1987. Hundreds of thousands of incipient New Agers around the world participated. I remember being at Sandy Hook, New Jersey. The silence, but for the waves of the sea, and then 1,000 voices oming as vast orange beams of light reached from the sea to the mid-sky with the rising sun. The towers of the city black on the distant horizon. With ever wider access to information, such consciousness events have begun to proliferate. In recent years, 1111 gateways and astrological alignments have gained some notoriety. The year 2003, was a kind of watershed for such events, with 3 being widely publicized over the internet, including the Mars encounter of 8/27/03, the harmonic concordance lunar eclipse of November, and the solar eclipse of later in November. To us, the Mars peace encounter was especially dynamic, with a gathering of like-minded, ritually binding the Mars Rudra energies to the path of peace and love at our Life Spirit, Medicine Wheel, and Sacred Grove. Coming years will manifest similarly synchronistic alignments and cosmic opportunities for manifestation of our futures. March 2004 saw a rare alignment of 5 visible planets with the Moon, where they each nearly kissed Luna at sundown on successive days, a movement of rare magic. Yet again, the significance of this alignment is found as Luna reveals and reflects the essential energies of the 5, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter. There were additional events that past spring and early summer, with the June 8, 2004 Venus solar transit of particular interest. See solar transit, as it twined with its sister transit of June 2012. The Venus solar transits come in pairs every 130 years. And note, the end of the world as we know it, year 2012. Well, the 2004 Venus transit is seen as an opening of the end of days, culminating in whatever may happen at winter solstice 2012 or thereafter. Here we are in the thereafter in 2016. We also note the experience of the Worldwide Harmonic Medicine Wheel, May 8th of 2004, where indigenous leaders gathered near Yellowstone and asked all our relations to activate sacred spaces to calm potential earth changes. There is significant concern that the Yellowstone caldera may be preparing for one of its once every 2 million year blasts. We held prayer circles at Life Spirit Crystal Dragon Prayer Wheel in the Grove on noon of those days back in 2004 and through September 11th of that time, developed into a global consciousness event, 11 days of global harmony. The alignments which relate to the 2003 harmonic concordance, for example. During 2005, several such events, including the March Phi Gate meditation and events in July, apparently reached the level of global consciousness events. Update. Daily prayer action, Dr. Emoto and the frequency of love, and the water of Fukushima. Go to one of our tiny URLs, tinyurl.com/Japan Water Prayer. What is meant by global consciousness event? And what does it matter? States the introduction to the Global Consciousness Project, quote, the mind's extended reach remains to be fully defined in scientific terms, but research on human consciousness suggests that we may have direct communication links with each other and that our intentions can have effects in the world despite physical barriers and separations. We are compelled by good evidence to accept correlations that we cannot yet explain. It appears that consciousness may sometimes produce something that resembles, at least metaphorically, a non-local field of meaningful information. The project, which is headquartered at Princeton University, sought to document and measure the events. It's similar to some of the work done by Dr. William Tiller the simulator hypothesis, or go to www.tiller.org. This idea of a meaningful connection between consciousness and events was discussed by C.G. Jung in a number of places, including his foreword to the Wilhelm Bein's I Ching. And I want to repeat what he said because we did read it out earlier in this series, and I think it's worth hearing again from one of the great psychiatrists of the 20th century, the man who predicted the return of the runes. A certain curious principle, he said, that I have termed synchronicity. It means, by the way, time with us, or with time. It's a concept, he says, that formulates a point of view diametrically opposite to that of causality. Causality being the normal rule of science, right? Cause and event. Everything is structured in time and with physical interactions. A concept, he says, that formulates a point of view diametrically opposed to that of causality, since the latter, he says, is merely a statistical truth and not absolute. It is a sort of working hypothesis of how events evolve one out of another, whereas synchronicity takes the coincidence of events in space and time as meaning something more than mere chance, namely a peculiar interdependence of objective events among themselves as well as of the subjective, psychic states of the observer or observers. Famous example, the very last meeting between Jung and Sigmund Freud in Freud's office in Vienna. They were talking about psychic phenomenon, Freud being very much not a believer in psychic phenomenon, and Jung being, as we know, quite a believer. And they were having a heated discussion. And at one point, there's a bang in the bookcase in his office. And a book pops out. And Jung says, that's an externalization of your hostility. And it's an example of a psychic event. And Jung said, something like, I guess, bosh, and Jung said, and it will happen again right now. And indeed, another pop and another book popped off the shelves. History doesn't tell us what those two books were. Unfortunately, the two great psychiatrists did not perhaps look, or at least they didn't share it with us. That was their last meeting. They just went their separate ways. They obviously had two different worlds they were manifesting. Well, how do we affect manifestation? How do we make it happen? We seek to engage in such events of synchronicity, right? Directly to set the constellation of circumstances that allow synchronicity, as Jung explained. There are, for example, worldwide monthly and weekly events where untold thousands focus on peace in a wave of prayer and meditation that rolls across the entire globe. Life Spirit Center maintains its Peace Prayer webpage to chronicle such events. In our town, during crises, people meet Friday evenings at 6 p.m. to witness for peace at the Courthouse Green. That people can easily, independently coordinate such consciousness, spiritual activities across a town, the country, or even the world is an astounding development in human consciousness. In the past, such cooperation was only possible through the instrumentality of world religions, operating in time frames of centuries and millennia. Think, for example, of how much effort and time it took to convince a quarter of the globe to pray facing Mecca 5 times a day. Now, however, small groups of light workers can accomplish in days over the internet the type of coordination that prophets and politicians used to take lifetimes to accomplish. And we must note, the sword cuts both ways. People can unite in consciousness for the good, or they can be led into negative thought forms, coming to believe in such false behavior as jihad or governing or focusing too much on possible earth changes. Our thought forms need to be balanced and focused on positive consciousness events. What do these events accomplish for us? Do they allow us real-time opportunities to intervene in our perceived reality? Are they indeed gateways into a future we manifest for ourselves by intent, practice, and expectation? And what of practice? Do these events have beneficial results? If not, we've joined together with other folk, at least seeking a better world. If, though, mind matters and our future is ours to choose, then we can rewire our reality at any time and choose to experience that better world. The future is now, and we shall see. The law of attraction with consciousness to the RAM for C&E. Who knows the secret to attracting highest good? Look in to find out. This secret is all about your inner nature, how to bring it out. Secret is be free. Sit and focus thought and breath. Attract as you will. Secret held in mind. Clear image. Out with your breath. Brings you what you choose. Who knows the secret to attracting highest good? Look in to find out. This secret is all about your inner nature. How to bring it out. Secret is be free. Sit and focus thought and breath. Attract as you will. Secret held in mind. Clear image. Out with your breath. Brings you what you choose. Codicil. Meditations on the One. HV equals MC squared. Summary. E equals MC squared. Relationship between matter and energy. E equals HV. Relationship between energy and frequency. HV equals MC squared. Relationship between frequency and mass. H is Planck's constant. C is the speed of light, constant. V is frequency, a variable. M is mass, a variable. First meditation on the One. E equals MC squared. There is but one substance in the universe. From our 3+1 dimensional view, we name that substance energy and matter and void, yet there is but one seamless whole, the quantum of the One. What the underground stream remembers as a secret of the mystery schools, that all that is light, is more precisely put in Einstein's famous equation. An equation equates A is A, E is M times something called C squared. Energy is mass. There is one substance. But what does it mean to multiply mass times the speed of light squared? It does not make sense to the 3+1 mind, but it does urge that mind onto higher dimensions. Motion, that is time, is the added factor, and it's hidden as S squared under each side of the equation. We live in space-time, not just a static cosmos. We are matter-energy, not just inert stuff. Everything is made of discrete pieces of stuff, of the quantum of the One. The equation of matter and energy lead us to a deeper religious knowledge of the oneness of all. The very form of the equation leads us to a deeper knowing of its meaning. E is energy. It arises from the rune Eo, the twin horses, which symbolizes the integration of effort. The M of mass leads us to matter, which is mother, and the rune Mon, which is humanity, the density of substance, the womb of potential. The C is from the rune Ken, which is the torch and illumination of the mind, the apt source of the inner light that unites matter and energy, and as light, C, links the two into one. Thus, all that is light. And hidden within is S Solus, the sun rune, and light again. Second meditation on the One. Another way of stating the equation, E equals MC squared, is to substitute an alternative phrase for the E of energy in that equation. Since E equals HV, or H is Planck's constant of action, and V, or sometimes F, is frequency or vibration, we can rewrite the equation as HV equals mc squared, or in runes, as thus. Since H and C are constants of nature, H is the smallest quantum of energy, C is the speed of light, it is clear that the only characteristics which distinguish different m's, masses of matter, is the frequency, the V or the F thereof. For each mass, there is a frequency, and since mass is energy, energy is frequency. Whatever is frequency. Frequencies, or cyclical factors, are central to our experience of time. Yes, time is also in Einstein's equation, but since the s squared is on both sides, as the divisor, it's not usually written. So it's hv over s squared equals mc squared over s squared. Thus, all aspects of our four-dimensional universe, that means one word, universe, are expressible in frequencies linked by the constants of energy and light. Thus, all that is frequencies of light in action. Third meditation on the one. Strings and brains vibrate in 11 ways. That's what hides in the quanta. Light is the key for harnessing zero-point energy. Fourth meditation on the one. To telos, the end of the cosmos. From dark energy accelerates universe. Evaporation. Local galaxies collide, the rest disappear. Universal fate? Then the local crunch, and it starts over again. The breath of Brahma. The Buddha proclaimed, when he had achieved his enlightenment, I, together with all beings and the great world, attain the way. Peace and blessing.